everybody attending the BLX experience in Colombia. And honestly, I feel very flattered and honored to be part of this. I am originally from Brazil, but I live in Switzerland for many years now. And it's really, it feels like our baby is really becoming a grown up. So we see BLX finally taking the high flights in different countries, helping clinicians reach really successful outcomes. And this is a moment of pure joy that we, from the project team, we will celebrate and treasure for a long time. I am, as Monica kindly described, I'm a periodontist and I am the Global Clinical Affairs Senior Manager at the Straumann headquarters here in Basel, Switzerland. And I have also had the privilege to work along the developer that I will share his name in a few seconds, but together with an incredible team in Basel, through the very beginning of the BLX. I joined Straumann precisely 5 years ago. And it was exactly when BLX was giving its first steps. BLX was just come out from a piece of paper to move towards prototypes. And then we had the chance and the honor to work alongside with this brilliant inventor and also the project team, seeing the first in human surgery, the preclinical studies, the clinical studies, and all the nice evidence that we like to support our products on. So I won't hold anymore. We do know that implant dentistry over the last decades have really gone through tremendous changes. New techniques really push the industry and push the companies towards the development of stronger materials, new surfaces, more stable connections. And on the same page, this also happened because clinicians like you guys watching this really pushed the boundaries and developed new techniques. And we do know that immediate treatment protocols was really one of the main driving factors widening implantology all over the world. So our next speaker, he will describe the fundamental features of the newly developed Straumann BLX system with special emphasis on superior implant material, the unique macro topography, and the best-in-class hydrophilic surfaces. He will also show a wide range of clinical applications in which BLX was able to fulfill successful outcomes. Dr. Fromovich, Ophir Fromovich, he graduated from the Medicine and Pharmacy Institute in Bucharest, Romania. He's an expert in the dental implant. He's leading a private practice dedicated to the placement and restoration of dental implants in Israel. And Dr. Fromovich is also the inventor of many implant systems that I'm sure you already know, including the BLX system. Dr. Fromovich also conducted several advanced implant courses in his clinic in Israel, and he is the author of many book chapters in implant dentistry and scientific publications. It's really a pleasure. I have the privilege to travel alongside with this man, and it's a true pleasure and joy to always watch him speak. Dr. Fromovich, without further ado, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Hola, Colombia. Buenas tardes. Bienvenido. Yo estoy feliz de estar aquí. I don't speak so much. No hablo español. And I will go now to English. So thank you very much, everybody. I think it's going to be amazing now to see the 5th-generation implant that are specially for immediate protocol and, of course, for any other cases. But this implant going to save a lot of your customer and a lot of your time too. And I will going to go to this journey to show you a little bit about the BLX and the TLX implant system of the Straumann company. So what is important is that this innovation, is coming with 60 years of experience out of Straumann. with my invention of the idea, but of course all the support of Straumann engineering that was very, very essential to achieve this implant that was not easy to go. So for some people that don't know my history, I was the owner of Alpha Bio company. 2003, I make the implants, all the implant system. Then later on, I developed the SFB, that was the previous implant of Nobel Active. I'm the inventor of the Nobel Active from Nobel Biocare. And lately, or recently, a new idea came that was really brilliant. And this is the BLX Implant System and the TLX Implant System that I'm going to talk about them and to try to explain you why this implant is so great and how this implant going really to help you a lot in what you do. So normally, implant, when you describe an implant or you do an implant, this implant is based on biological concept. Because when you look at bone, you see that the bone have sponges and have cortical. So the cortical have a Versa system and Volkmann canal, and we don't want to eat it. When we look inside the sponges is very normally soft because the role of the sponges is for nutrition. So now we take this complex that have cortical and sponges, and we know that in this complex, if we make a big osteotomy, or we want to get support on the cortical, this can make a big damage to the bone. So we have to think how we can really achieve a good stability on the bone without damaging. So if you look on the right upper part, you see a normal tooth. So for the normal tooth, if you have, let's say, a very little bone, okay, buccally, this will not make no problem to nobody because this bone can really stay there. So you can see here, I don't know if you can see my arrow. So a little bone buccally to normal tooth will not do nothing because you have all the mechanism of orthodontic movement, whatever. When we go into the implant, we need to have more bone and what I call critical size of bone. For example, you know that the bone is looking like a tree. On the tree, you know, maybe in your place or some in Brazil, when you want to kill a tree, you take the bark away out of the tree and the tree will die because all Versa system and Volkmann canal get eaten. So a critical size is mean that I need to make a very small osteotomy and get a good fixation on the bone. So it's mean I need to take the spongious bone and modify it in like lamina dura. So the idea was not so easy how we can make an implant for immediate loading that have a good stability and a good bone implant contact. If you look at normal bone, you see the cortical upper, you see in red color, and then you can see in sponges that we have different type of bone inside the sponges. So it's mean it's not a 2D, is a 3D bone around it. So the understanding of taking a normal implant or generation 4 or generation 1 of the implant, it cannot fit all the bone around. And the idea was how we can create a special implant, or I call it even a special instrument that can really achieve what we did not achieve until now. So if I think and I say, wow, what will be the ideal stuff to do that we can really, really have the best implant in the world. So I will say that I want a large anchorite and a very good stability in all bone types. I would like as smallest as possible osteotomy, and of course to preserve the crestal bone. And I will tell you how we do it. I want a nice system that go fast and easy, but I want that the torque that will build will be gradually. So I don't want stress in no place. And then the most important, I want a gradual 3D condensation and to achieve me a high bone implant contact. You will see that this implant is very clever because this instrument is doing cut, collect, condense, and disperse. It was not existing even in implantology, all those terms that I'm going to talk about them. So the idea is coming, is not for me. It's coming from God. It's coming from the nature. Because I was observing, clue of lion, of eagle, of tiger. Then I find out that if you take the crown out of the animal cannot make their kill. It's not possible because their mouth is only for heat or for taking the breath away of the animal. But if you take it out, they cannot even survive. And the idea that I was looking in those claws is that those claws have a very special algorithm. They are very thin in the beginning. They can penetrate any elephant or crocodile easily. They become wider, and then they have a good, let's say, no friction, but very good stability. So I said, wow, I will take this lion claw and make them to be a thread of an implant. So if this will be easy insertion, very good fixation, and then I will put them one beside the other. So it means my implant can work left and both, so forward and backward. And with this idea, that was the beginning to say that, yes, we're going to make a very special thread that nobody existing even before. Of course, we will put some more idea to this implant. We come, and then I try to look where is the stress distribution around different implants. And by doing this, we see that we have finite element analysis, photoelastic, and we see that most of the implant in the world that was designed normally by engineer, most of the stress is getting on the upper cortical. And I don't want to get a stress on the upper cortical because this will cause the biological width to get resorption, to have remodeling. I will not get a nice aesthetic because it will affect it. And of course, the sponges can have micro movement. And if you look now on the arrow, this one arrow, you can see that this was type of SFB. So it was a previous noble active implant that I will make a reverse conical head on the upper part, and then I will eliminate a lot of stress on the upper part. Now, if you look to the right side, to the Straumann X or the BLX, on the final element analysis, you can see that all the implant is blue. It's mean by making a small neck upper part and a special design of the thread with the lion claw, we eliminate fully all the stress from the upper part and lower part. So it's mean if I take a normal implant, any other company, and I'm going to place it 40 Newton or 60 Newton, most of the stress will be on the upper cortical. If I'm going to take BLX or TLX, if I put 70 Newton, the 70 Newton will be shared all around the implant for up to down. So it means this implant is very safe, no stress going on it because of the very special design that we have that I'm going to show you. So here we look at about the stress distribution, and we know that in many, many implant protocol, you need to achieve good stability or to achieve bone implant contact, you need to use osteotome, bone spreader, tab, gizmo, osteocodification instrument. We don't need to use nothing on BLX because BLX is more clever than all these instruments, and you will see it immediately because it's combined more than those instruments inside the implant himself. You will see later on for some of you that will have the chance to try the everything is very easy to use and very famous. When we look even, on different types of coronal design of implant, we have different types. Full implant, back tapper, triangular. Most of those connections that I will show you that are not the best stable have a lot of space and a lot of stress on the upper cortical. BLX have a very parallel, very small neck that will allow a lot of bone around the implant and of course around the body of the implant, you will see later on. Now, So this instrument has everything inside, and this was designed for dynamic bone management and soft tissue integration. And I will go slowly to try to explain. So you see that on the left side, we have the BLX, and on the right side, we have the TLX. So both body of the implant are the same, but for TLX, we have the tissue level in different, we have it like straight, 4.8 and 6.5. So in different location, you can use different. Let's now look a little bit how the implant is look, and let's try to understand the implant, because this instrument is a very special instrument with very special feature. If we're going to look at the apex in the red color, we see that we have a round apex, very shallow round apex, to protect the sinus membrane or any nerve that we're going, any anatomic. Above this round apex, we have a two thread that looking like two small drill. So it means I can still go and protect, but I still get a big cortical stabilization very easy in any case that you want. And it's very important for immediate loading. If you go above, you see dual horizontal condensing thread. Each thread of this implant is composed of two threads. Like the lion claw that is elliptic a little bit, we have two threads, narrow and another narrow on top of it. So this may be, to try to explain you better, this is like a step drill. Step drill have, let's say, 2 millimeter drill and then 2.8 millimeter drill. So I can drill one time, two holes, 2 and 2.8 in one. Here is like double thread. So it means, think about that I will take the wider thread away and I use only the one thread. So if I place the implant, it will go very easy, 25 degree, very smooth, no friction. And then I can put another implant that have only the second thread, the wider thread, and I will get a condensation of the first thread. So this implant have dual thread that going together, and the thread in the beginning are very long and become to be very wide, but going outside of the center. So it means they can do some condensation on the bone. If we look at the third one, fully taper slim implant core with a C shape parallel to the middle line. So between the thread, we have like a condensing, like a round osteotome. So if I will take the thread away out of the implant and use just the body, I can make a small to me, rotate the body of the implant, that the implant will condense the bone because it's like a round osteotome in the body of the implant. Then above you see progressive dual in dual thread design. So it means each thread are different for the second one, and we have like 180 degree, two threads that start to go one beside the other. So it means the insertion will be fast and it's not wobbling any bones. So I will get a very nice stability. Now let's go left side. Big directional cutting element. This is the lion claw from both sides. So the lion claw, after we have double thread, we have like an undercut that have the lion claw that will work both sides, and you will see it later on. And then we have a full dynamic chip flute, okay, all around the implant to the top. This is like the Archimedes screw that take the water or take some grain. This will take some bone from different area and move it in different direction, and I will explain. And then we have the upper part of the neck that is a narrow one to allow more bone, what I call bone platform shifting, with platform shifting of the gingiva. And this is a narrow one that will allow more bone, no stress on upper cortical. You have a reverse micro thread on top of it that will take the blood clot. And then we have a cortical scratcher, is like a bone tap for the upper cortical to take the smear layer, to open the Volkmann canal and all the blood vessels that go again here, so we can really build it in a very nice way. Now, this was the direction, but how everything will work. This is a very nice, because I told you that this implant is cut, collect, condense, and disperse. You do all of this together. How it's doing? It's doing it in a very special way, okay? So we make a small osteotomy. The lion claw, that in the lion are a little bit conical, we made them to be 2 thread. And then they have the angle, okay, that is easy insertion, no friction, and then become to be wider to get a very good fixation. If the thread is going 360 degrees, if you feel that the bone is soft, you push it by the 2 thread, the dual thread. If the bone is very hard, the bone is jumping to the lion claw and get cut. And then it's going to the full of the dynamic chip fluid and moving on different area space in the bone. And then with the upper coronal cam is a very narrow and no stress. But I'm going to repeat it because it's will be very important. So you see the picture down below from the left side, the slim upper core. So the core of the implant is very small. So I need to have small osteotomy. But how it's possible for us to do small? Because we use the rock solid material that is a very patent by Straumann, is a very strong material that I can really make this design of implant with this to be strong enough. And of course, we have the SLA and the famous SLA active, that this will give us all the best that we can really achieve for an implant. Then we're going to the second one. This is the full length of the chip fluid. This is the Archimedes screw that we will take all around to move the bone. And then you can see exactly the lion claw. You can see the 2 thread, here one and here second, and the undercut. And then on the right side, we see the reverse micro thread that we talk about. Here you can see it in a more beautiful way. You can see here from the left side, on the upper part, you can see a soft bone, and you can see how the implant is moving and condensing the bone, and you can see the number 1 and 2. This is the 2 thread. Now, the things that you see on those rose color, this is what I call bone sensor. This is a small undercut in the lion claw, and when the bone is soft, it is not jumping in the undercut, it gets condensing. Lower one, you will see that if the bone is hard, the bone is jumping to the undercut, as you see here in the middle cut, and then the bone can cut and then going all around the way. So it means this instrument is so clever that it can modify the bone type and achieve a really bone implant contact. Now look at this video. I hope that you can see this video good. You can see inside the bone how this bone sensor is working. Part of the bone will be condensed, and part of the bone that have jump or have strong bone will jump to the lion claw. And then from the lion claw, it will go all around the implant, up and down, to achieve the place. So you can see here, on the left side, the prototype of implant that I put in a human bone, and I take it out. You can see the area of the undercut. There are full width bone, and you can see that all the implant fully bone, even on the upper cortical, because this implant is cut, collect, condense, and disperse. So this is something amazing, because we take an implant to be an instrument to give us the best stability, and then we can be more safety to go to immediate loading, as we see in the film with Anna and the lion. So now let's see in the video how this whole element is working. So look at the lion claw. I hope that you can see the video, how powerful when you go to the wood and you can just steer the wood to go inside, because as I told you, less friction and a very good insertion. Now you can see the round apex and the 2 thread or the 2 drill that I have on top of it. I make a very small osteotomy. I don't need to make big osteotomy. Each dual thread condense the bone and in a very different direction. And then we have, as you see, 2 threads on each implant. So all these mechanisms with the C-core, the round osteotome, and remember, every function, every implant, every diameter, every length are different pitch, different conical part, because we need mathematically to achieve the best stability that this implant can achieve. So normally, most of my drill that I'm using is 2.2 or 2.8 millimeter, even for 5 and 4.4 implant design, because the core of the implant is so small that it can do everything. So you can see if I do reverse and forward, the bone can move up and down. So see on the right side, when the bone is hard, it's jumping, it's get cut, and then it's moved with the dynamic check. If the bone is soft, the bone will condensing, and then the bone that existing will go up and down in different direction and will push to the space that existing in the spongeous bone. And this is very, very important to know. Now, the implant will go to a very small osteotomy, as I say, will preserve the upper cortical because the head of the implant is very narrow, and then it will, with the reverse and the micro stretcher, it will take the smear layer out of the cortical because we drill it and we have smear layer, and we'll open the Volkmann canal and the abrasive system to give a better healing and not to have resorption. I recommend mostly to place this implant below the bone to achieve the remodeling area. Now, this implant have a different, you will see later on that we have one abutment for all the implant, but still on the wide diameter, 5, 6.5, we have the option to give you a wide abutment. So you will see later on, because I'm going to go morely to the connection as well, because the connection is a very special connection. It's a 7-degree Morse tapered, it's thorax inside, it's 6 tube to stabilize, and we can use the same abutment as you see here in different diameter of implant. But still we have option to put a wide abutment if we need. And we will go slowly to see how this really work and function. Look at this. This is a soft bone. I put the implant, I put it reverse and forward, and you can see how the bone is moving up and down. So you can see here, all the function that I told you will go up and down, so the implant can move up and down. Now, if I take the rest of the bone that was jumping away outside, and I take this implant out, you see that the implant is full of bone, exactly like I showed you before on the model that we put in human being. So the implant, this is an instrument. Okay, it's very clever because it can really adapt to any type of bone, and you cannot achieve it with another implant. Look here. We will make some undercut in the buccal, one drill, 2 millimeter, and then a perspex, a transparent plastic on top of it. When I rotate the implant, you can see how the bone is condensing and how the bone is mixing, because you see different color. When I take the perspex away, I go forward a little bit to show you. I go back one, you see that the bone is stable. I will push all the bone away and then see what happened. What I'm going inside is condensed. I'm going outside is very soft. So this instrument is really clever. Now, if you see a little bit red color here, this is because the implant decide not to condense it because it's not needed. So what I make is a small hole, and I'm going to repeat it because it's very important to see. And you can see on the right side how this implant works when it's open. So you can see how the bone is jumping up and down, and how all these mechanism is work. And of course, you can see on the left side how it's work. You know, when we saw this picture, then Straumann engineer tell me, Ophir, it's worked. It's worked. Not only in final element analysis, not in photoelastic, it's really worked because we can really see how this instrument is working perfectly in those parts. Look at the hard bone. Here, I don't need the bone tap. The implant can be taking the bone, changing the density. If I go left and right, you see I take some bone away. So you can decide what torque you want to place the implant, and look how beautiful this looks in a hard bone. Now let's look a little bit about the connection, because you know, many implant was designed like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and not a lot of people or company doing modification to the implant to try to make them better, or to improve here, or to improve here. This is start from zero. So if you ask me, this is like Tesla. Okay, it's a new horizon. It's like electric car or whatever you want, because these start from scratch. Everything was designed from the beginning, and I'm going to explain. So we have, for example, as I told you before, we have one platform for all these implants. It means 3.5, 375, 4, 4.5, 5, 5, 5, 6, one abutment. I can take this abutment. Look how beautiful is it. So I have bone platform shifting here and platform shifting. This is 2.7 millimeter. It means I will have a lot of gingiva. And everything was really designed from basic to give you the best connection in the world that existed. Now, I don't like to say name of company, but we have external BLX implant outside. We have a tapered, conical implant outside. And then we have a deeper 11 conical upper part. If you look at those conical parts, you see that all this is inside. Look here, all the conical part is very small because the hexagon is topping on it. So this is not all those implants are not really full conical implant, because you can see all the X on top of them. If you look at this implant company in America, and I don't want to say name, but you look at this, so you see here that they have like 45 degree, and hexagon inside. This is a not conical implant. The stability is only in a very small line here. You cannot have a good stability. So here maybe it's better, but here you cannot have a good stability, because when we go to immediate loading, it's important to have a very stable implant, but a very stable connection, because we don't want the micro movement. We don't want the pump effect. We don't want the infection. So we need a really strong connection that you will see it here slowly of what we developed that I'm going to explain. So external legs or different implant have different abutment, like abutment for narrow, abutment for medial, and this one. And if you look at those abutment, so you can see that the stability of the conical one is a very small one. So if I place this implant, it's just stable in a very small part. Or if I look at this one, I don't have the platform shifting that I want. I don't say that those implants are bad. No, they're not bad. You can achieve a very good result with them. But this is not a 5th generation implant. So another implant, conical, and exactly the same. You have it on top of it. Now, if I look at what we developed, the new torque fit, that this is a patent by himself, this is a really amazing, and you will see. So it's full 7 degree, not 11, not 8, not 12, 7 degree, and it's full clean. No, you don't have the X or thorax on top of it. Then we have a thorax. A thorax is like a star. Today, every spaceship, every satellite, every race car, no more X, only thorax. But this thorax is a very clever thorax, because this thorax is like interdigitation. So you have outside thorax, but you have the tube in tube here, the red one, that going and catch it together. If I'm going here, you can see here, inside you can see the thorax in, and here you see the outside and the conical part. So it means the implant, the abutment will engage in 1, 2, 2, more than 12 surface area to catch it. And then we have the external bevel for bone platform shifting and for the option of wide if we want. And then we have the yellow one to take an impression, because we have to be very precise. So we don't take impression on conical, we take impression on up. And then this conical 7 degree is virgin. So whatever you put the abutment is really fit one each other, because this is a Swiss quality. So lower you see 2 abutment, the same abutment can go in different diameter, but still we have the option as you see later on. So look at this. All the diameter from 3.5 to 6.5 can have 1 abutment. And the beautiful biologic about this, that we have bone platform shifting, width platform shifting of the gingiva on those one. But still, if I have a molar, for example, and I want to come wide, So on the same implant, same impression post, same tools, same drill, I can take a wider abutment that still have platform shifting, but staying on the bevel. So it's make a big economy and logical for the doctor to use the system because it's very simple. And for the technician, it's very simple. No need to think what abutment was, what analog was, no need. Very simple. We do a lot of tests. You know, this is Straumann company. Nothing will go out to the market without a lot of testing. So we do a lot of animal tests. And you see, we do immediate loading of those animal tests. And you see that the bone is above the implant in all the clinic study. And we see a beautiful result all around it. For example, we have the pig that was dying in the same day. We took out and we see everything that I demonstrate, cut, distribute, condense, and collect on the same day. And look how beautiful result. We have even bone growing above the implant when we place it. So it means the stress is not going to cortical. The stress is only around the implant because this instrument, this 5th generation implant, making exactly fit. Now people look at this and say, oh, maybe a bit traumatic. I say, no, it's not. Look at this. It's extraction case that I didn't touch it. I have a green stick fracture. I place the implant. This green stick fracture is not break. I take the implant away. It's full of bone. And you can see the thread here. So this implant is very, very gentle. Look at this. Another extraction case. You see these holes. I place the implant and you can see how the bone is moving here. So exactly what we say, all what was demonstrated here. For example, what I can do with this implant. So what I want to say, what I can do everything with this implant. So what we have here, we have a 5th generation implant that we make a very small stotum that have a lion claw dual thread that can condense nicely and can have a good fixation, very light insertion, and a very good fixation. Stotum is small. If we collect, condense, take the bone and push it away all around the bone. And then we have a very special connection. And this all will be very nice and working perfectly for immediate loading. And of course, for normal placement as you want. So for example, I want to show some cases, what I do with this implant. Okay, I will show you maybe a little bit crazy stuff because I want to show you what this implant can do. But of course, I will suggest to start with the normal cases to understand the implant. So for example, this is extraction molar with a big defect, that mandibular, that I just take the implant, push it lingually, buccally, and to distally, and just put half round of the implant. So the lion claw for lower from the side, get engagement. And this is not for immediate loading, but this is immediate placing. And I place a bone and I save a lot of time. Look at this. I have more bone mesially here that you see and a little bit bone distally, but I want to place the implant more to in the middle. So I can start with this implant this direction. The lion claw will work on those sides, on the mesial side, and slowly I can rotate the implant because the osteotomy is small and place the implant exactly in the middle. Because if it was normal implant, it will shift away distally immediately. Let's see this case. It's look a very big resorption of mandibula, as you see, very big resorption. And if you look here on the left side, on the right side, you can see that the mandibula on the distal part are very angulated. Now, as I explained this implant before, I say this implant is work separate on each part of the implant. So each part of the implant is working independently. In the other implant in the market, to get the achievement, you need to place all the implant to insert it. Here is not. So if I show you later on, I have big defect, it's not problem with this implant. So I was thinking how I can use this implant in translingual implant placement. It means I want to drill here and to place the implant on this 3mm bone to be stable here on the lingual and put some augmentation or like sinus lift for the mandibular. So let's say what I do. Extract the tooth, clean the bone, cut the bone, not too much. It's a very narrow bone, as you see, with a lot of defect. This is the markup. I put the markup. It's very narrow. And then I place the implant, as you see here, not to the final position. Later on, I place the final position. I drill here outside to the lingual. And I place the implant because even if I have 3 millimeter, I can stabilize the implant. And you can see here. So the implant going here, this is the lingual part. The implant is here. You can see the bone on the implant with the arrow on the left side. And then on the right side, you can see the membrane that's going below. So I'm going to put the bone augmentation material here. You can see it here. And I close the membrane of top of it. So in this case, I will have more white bone and I will have more bone around it because this implant can allow me. Those implants on the front, I place it below the bone because I like to place an implant 2 millimeter, 1 millimeter below the bone. I put a bone augmentation and a membrane. So you can see here, I can go to 80 Newton, 70 Newton with the implant because the implant is very stable. You can see all this is open. It's no problem for me. 2 millimeter below, 2 millimeter below. And then I put a very long abutment, like 3.5 or 4.5 millimeter long implant. And then I put bone augmentation, membrane, and I go for immediate loading. And I am very stable with this implant. So you can see now, we put the healing cap for the middle, and I go to the left side, to the right side. I drill exactly the same. And then you can see the implant. The implant is going here, exactly the same. Put a membrane, put a bone augmentation here, close it like this, and then what I have 2 implants here that I will wait 4 or 5 months, 2 implants in the other side, 4 or 5 months, this implant going for immediate loading. The way that I place the implant below the bone and take a very long abutment, this gives me the reorganize of the biological weight width in a very nice way. We need minimum 2 millimeter of biological weight. If you put a small abutment, you can have resorption because the biological weight have to reorganize. So I put the implant below, put a long abutment, I have a remodeling, and in case in future I need to change the abutment, I can change it. So you can see it here, ready for immediate loading, and this goes for immediate loading. You can see it here, it looks like the implant is out of the nerve, but no, you can see it here. The implant is going here, it gets fixation in like 3-4 millimeter, and then all the bone augmentation material was going around it. And in this case, you see left and right, we can really add some more implant if we need it. But of course, we can stop with 5 implant or 4 implant, and we don't need more. It's enough. But in case that is a young person, and this person is want to have more distal implant, this is possible to do. And this implant can really do it in a very nice and fast way. Look at this case. Very big defect, okay, here and here. So can I go with this immediate loading as safety? With BLX and TLX? Yes, I can do. As I told you, each implant is worked separately and the stability that we get is enormous. So I extract all the teeth here, open the mental here, open the mental here, and take like 30-degree angulated, pass the mental here, pass the mental here, but here I have problem. I have a big defect. So I have like 4 millimeter here and 5, 6, 7 millimeter here to stabilize it. Can I go for immediate loading? Yes, easy. So I go in here, I have a defect, I have like 5, 6, 7 millimeter stabilized here, and 5, 6 millimeter stabilized here. It's enough. I don't need much more for this. So I place the implant as you see here, bone augmentation, implant below the bone. As you can see here, I place it below the bone, so when it will be remodeling, it will look beautiful. Longer abutment, and going for immediate loading, very easy and very safe. This is very interesting case. This is a doctor from Cyprus. He was my student, a dentist. He don't take care of its tooth. Look at this. So we have a very loosey tooth, no bone. And he come to me and say, Ophir, I want immediate loading because I come from Cyprus for 4 days. I want immediate loading and I want full mouth. And I say, you crazy? How I do immediate loading here? Look, what you have here. You have, maybe I can place 4 implant here, or if I do angulated, I can go only to K9. I cannot do for you. And then he said, please try, I know. And I say, you know what? We try with you. But I'm going to do over-engineering. I'm going to place a lot of implants. So I'm going to do what it's called transsinusoid. Because I have 24 millimeter of BLX, So I will extract, of course, all the tooth. I will start here in the five. I go here, I open, of course, the sinus membrane, I take it up, I go here, I go on the hair, and then cage here on the floor of the nose. Exactly I will do here. Go from here, have a good stability here, go on the hair and stabilize here. 2 implant here, 2 implant here, 1 implant here. I will place 1 implant to pterigo here, 1 implant to pterigo, and then for safety side, for you, because I don't see you, I put 2 implants on the sinus and we see what we will be going. And the guys say, of course, let's do it. So what we do, extract all the tooth here, open the window, make a little buccal extension, take this implant, pass to the sinus, engage on the floor of the nose. 2 implants on the sinus for sinus lift, 1 implant to the pterigo. We're going to the other side. Other side. Open the window, taking the membrane, going here to the sinus, engaging on the floor of the nose, 24 millimeter length BLX. You can see it here, 2 implants on front, 2 implants on sinus, and 1 implant for pterigo. So what we achieve, 4 implants on front, transsinusal implant, pterigo implant. This implant was not so stable, like 25 newtons, so I leave it there. And then you can see it here. This is the sinus floor. This is the sinus floor. It's going here. 2 implants for sinus, pterigo, we don't use. 2 in sinus and pterigo. You can see it here, all the implant, and you can see one above the other here. You can see it here, one above the other. And then, this is what we got, okay? This is the time that we place him, the bridge. And look at the guy, he's happy. 2.5 years was passing. He did not come to Israel because of the corona, but he called me 2 weeks ago. And I say, what happened? How are you? Why you don't come? He said, I come. I say, what happened? He said, everything is perfect. I don't need to change. I stay like this. I say, you crazy doctor. Come here and let's make the definitive one. But this worked beautiful. Exactly. Look at this case. This was in Tel Aviv University. We do live surgery. We take a digital flow because we have all the digital flow. But here what I do, I plan digital flow, but this was like 3 years ago. So we don't have all the elements, so I will do manually. So we prepare everything in the digital form. And I asked the technician to just to give me the tray, open tray, and to make a prosthesis ready for me. So look at this here. We match one each other in a beautiful way. And then you can see it here on the TV. I hope that you can see the video. So this was in Tel Aviv University. We transmit it. So this is what we do. We do a lot of courses in Israel or whatever. It's like a 5 minutes video to show you how I work and what I do. So open the flap, open the sinus, because here we do all in 6, and the patient was very want to have more implants, so we do a sinus lift. So you can see normally I make a very small sinus, open window. I don't like to have big one. You can see the 3 implant to the front for the all 6, and you can see here that I'm going to place the sinus lift. So we're using a Straumann os because we like it. It's very good. And Straumann membrane. You can see that I place the implant on front, and you can see that I really can move left and right to get exactly the angle that I want. This is a 4.5 millimeter. When you have a very little bone on the sinus, don't put the implant below the bone. You have to put the implant above the bone. Here, I'm using membrane. Yes, you can use it with studs. Many times you don't need it, but in case you want, you can use it if you want a very stable graft. So we put it here, and then we go, and normally I like to have like 2 to 3 millimeter of bone augmentation around the implant. I put bone all the time. So we open the window here, as you can see, exactly the same, very small window. And I go more distally and more mesially because I like to have extra bone in case that something happens. 3 implants on the floor. You can see I can rotate until I get the good fixation that I want. And I place the implant below the bone, open the sinus, put it there. All this operation was like 2.5 hours, and the patient get everything ready because it was planned and it was very easy to do. So we placed the implant, we used the member flex of Straumann. You can see we put it buccally. So we have everything on Straumann company, a big variability of abutment, material, all what you need. So mostly, this was the prosthesis that's ready. We just put it with acryl. Patient get it very fast. 3 hours, patient was out. Everybody was happy, and me too. This is the X-ray of a freehand installation of the implant and immediate loading, of course. And you can see it now, it looks very beautiful. This is the result of the patient. She get upper and lower, and she is very, very happy with what she get. So this was in the university. Look at this case. Implant that failed. What we can do here, look how big defect we have all around here. This guy coming to my clinic, he's a very old one. I think 73, 74 years old. He said, I don't have time to wait. Can you do it immediate loading? I said, look, in your case, it's really difficult, but if you really want, I think that I have the implant that can do it. So you see this case, we extract everything, and look how big defect we have here. But luckily, I have lingual bone and buccal bone. So this is fantastic for me. So I go here, you see I place the implant exactly here, very stable down. Buccal to it, I put another implant because I have like 10 millimeters stabilized here. For me, it's very good. So for me, this was perfect. So what I do, place the implant as you can see here, here. Put the abutment, put the bone augmentation material all over, as you can see here. Put a small membrane here, not putting the membrane of top. Small membrane here, small membrane here. Yes, of course I have enough tissue. You can see it here before I close it, very long one. So I will have it up, close the gingiva, take the impression, as you see here. This is the patient, pass this one, all is full of bone. You see all this is full of bone. Yes, but it's very stable. We make a temporary bridge. Patient get it in the same day. And look at him, he come and he go like it's a normal one. So you see, this skin can really make wonder with this because we can really do whatever we want. Look at this case. This is a tissue level. This is my assistant, Dalia. She come and she have the broken 7. I extract the tooth and I just place the implant, no drill, nothing. Bone augmentation and the implant. You can see the result, how it looks like. I change for her all the crown and the whatever need. You can see it here. After 18 months, tissue level, beautiful, stabilized it. And you can see the new crown that she gets on top of it. We use a digital laboratory to make everything ready, as you can see here. So we have model, we have everything, and we make the bridge. We use the variable base here, and then we have everything perfectly, and then you can see it here, and you saw the result already. Another case, young lady, 28 years old. All the teeth have to extract. She got to many doctors. She don't have a boyfriend. I say, why you don't have a boyfriend? She say, how can I have a boyfriend like this? I say, you know what? Next week we do the operation. 2 days after this, you can go and meet your boyfriends if you want. So everybody was afraid to extract it, but you need to do it. I didn't have time because it was 1 week to prepare on the bridge. So I take something temporary bridge that we have. Take everything, cut the bone. You can see it here. I do sinus lift all in 6. You can do all in 4, it's enough. You can do all in 6, it's enough. If the patient wants to have more, why not? Going to give me more. So we do 5 implants on the front, 2 implants on each side because she's 20 years old. So this will wait like 1 year, and we're going to do immediate loading here. So I take a normal bridge, I just put it in the mouth. You can see the result here. You can see it before and after in the same day. So this patient, you know, we saved her life. Look at the video, and I hope that you can see the video, how she looked like 20 years old lady, university educated, very nice lady, but she cannot go out like this. She don't have life. She is all the time afraid. And look at her. in the same day, same clinic. Look at her. And you know why is this so beautiful? Because I was reducing the vertical dimension of her, and I will make it exactly balance of the aesthetic that she need to be. And then I want to go, because I have like 5 minutes left, I want to go to the last case to show you what BLX really can do. Look at this lady. This was last week. Look at her smile, look at the gun smile, and look how she looks like. So she come to the clinic to do hygienist. She want to do just to take, clean the teeth. And I told her, look, guys, I can change your life. I have a new implant, very good for stabilizing. I can change your life. And she said, what you want, you change my life. I say, you like your smile? She said, no, I never smile. I all the time put my hands. And I say, okay, come and I show you what I'm going to do. So look, she in the left part, she even cannot close her mouth nicely. It's too difficult for her. So I look inside. Luckily, the teeth was not good. But I have to tell you personally, even if the teeth was good, so we can do a fourth one with orthodontic or whatever, or in some case we took, but the teeth was not good. So look, all the teeth was periodontic teeth, upper and lower. So this was wonderful for me, wonderful news. So what I do, I was sculpture in my hands and in my eyes, okay? Because I said to her that it would be very difficult with digital flow or with to really know how to make her beautiful smile. So I say, wait, I will do it myself. So look at this. I extract all the teeth. I mark up where is the gum smile. I mark up where is the lower that I want. Because she was under anesthesia, local anesthesia. With the two hands, I make the smile to see exactly what I'm going to get. And then I extract all the teeth. Look how the lips was falling down. So I specialize in orthodontics. So luckily, I know all the size that I need. So I want 90 degree here, not like it was before. But look at the lower part. So this is a little risky. So I open it here. You can see here, I cut a little bone, check, and then cut all the bone to the level that I need. You see here, this is upper, this is lower, but in the end, I cut all the bone. Then I place the implant in the direction that I want to have. Okay, so roughly, I know exactly what I want, and I put it, extract all the lower tooth, and put another implant. So this is the upper part, and this is the lower part. So normally what I do, I make a small hole here, see where is the sinus, and then place this implant. Make a small hole here, check where is the sinus, and then place this implant, and then put all the implant. Exactly the same. See where is the mental, put the implant. See where is the mental, put the other implant. And in this case, and I have all those abutments, the multi-unit that I can really check. You see, I place the implant below the bone a little bit and take a longer abutment. And this will make me safe, very safe for this. I did not have time to make a temporary bridge. So to give information for the technician, I take an impression material and I just put a Tipex on top of it to try to give the imagination that I want to have. So this is immediately after the operation with the it's not temporary, it's just to see. So look at her eyes. Look, she starts to look different. Her husband comes before she get the temporary. And look how she look with the temporary. Look how the lips look. Look how the face look. And this is like 3 days after the operation. Look before and look after. Look here and look here. Tell me if it's the same person. No, it's totally different. You see, all this height, I was cut it lower to make it more feminine, more beautiful to make her. And look how the profiles look like. Look at this here. Where she talks. Look at so look before and after. And this for me is amazing. And BLX can help me do this because I can have a good stability, a very secure implant with the best material, the rock solid, the SLA active, the special design, the instrument, the lion glue. And with this, I hope and I really beg you I really beg you. You know, yes, I know it's more expensive than all the other implants, but you know, we make mistakes because we say, okay, I do all in four. I buy an implant, $150. Yeah, okay. So $600 I pay for the implant, and then I take for all in four, I don't know, 5,000 US dollar, whatever. We have to be transparent to the patient. We have to say to the patient, look, you want an American implant, whatever, this costs you 5,000. But if you want the BLX implant, the difference will be $100 between your implant that you buy and Straumann that is more expensive. So I tell you, just give the patient the opportunity and tell the patient 5,000 with American implant, 5,400 because you have to place $100 more to each implant, 5,400 for BLX. And I promise you that 90% of your patients will say, yes, I pay you $400 more, give me the best implant in the world, and this will give you the best safety. And of course, this will give you the glory of using the best implant system because all of you want to drive Mercedes and Ferrari. And with this, I just beg you, try it because it's amazing. It's amazing implant. And with this, I like to say thank you very much, and I will be ready for answer or question. This is Dental Master. If you go to the internet and put Dental Master, this is the company that do those videos for me. And Dental Master doing a lot for your clinic. You can look at the internet and see it. So this thanks to them. And with this, we go back to Jerry. Hi, Jerry, how are you?
Hi, Ophir. Thank you very much for your presentation. Really, I'm speechless every time I listen to your lectures because I never know which direction I'm more amazed. The direction of how the implants and the componentry is playing games in my mind, thinking of the possible restorative solutions I can go, or if the cases you're showing actually are the ones that I'm really more curious to understand more. And really congratulations for the outcomes of those cases. Really before and after, really it's night and day. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you.
So
if
we do have
question, I will be happy to answer.
Of course, with a presentation like this, it's really hard to miss the questions, right?
Yeah.
So we do have quite a few questions, implant related and componentry related. So let's start with the implant related. I collected a few here. So Professor Fromovich, the threads in the apical part of the implant, they seem to be very sharp and thin. Do you think they may deform when the implant faces hard bone type?
Okay, thank you for the question. So we check it, you know, it's Straumann company, it's not me, it's the engineer of Straumann. We check it in a very difficult bone material, and they are very stable. They are sharp, but it's rock solid, don't forget. They have a special form, and they resist very well. So no problem to get engagement. Yes, they get very good engagement. If you make, let's say, on the upper cortical 2 or 2.8 millimeter cortical, this will fit exactly to give you the stability. Exactly. I hope that we have the time, one time, to do a life surgery course in Colombia, that we can really demonstrate it on model or in a patient as well.
Thank you, Ophir. We have a few questions here that came from a different channel and one directly in our chat. So I will prioritize our chat first. So in our chat, we have Dr. Juan Manuel Breton, and he asks, what is the maximum torque that can be applied to this type of implant?
Thank you, Dr. Malo. Very good question. You know, mostly we try to avoid overload. So we're afraid to go over 50, 60 is problem. But as I told you, we do finite element analysis photoelastic. In most of the implant, you get the stress on the upper cortical, and this can cause necrosis. Or you get the stress in one part on the 3D inside the bone, because you use an implant that's working on 2D. This is not an implant. This is an instrument. This instrument that have the line clue will go and will find where is the hard bone. It will cut the hard bone. It will condense the soft bone. And in the hand, you can go to 70 Newton easy. This is what we recommend. I tell you that if you go to 80, nothing will be happen. Because this, if you go to 70 Newton, this it means that each part of the implant have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And this is really, your question was wonderful, because this is one of the elements of this successful implant. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Ophir. And I do have another question from the audience that goes hand in hand with the question from the other channel. So our colleague, Dr. Cesar Olarte, he asks, for bone type 1 and 2, are you sure we can use this implant?
Dr. Cesar, thank you for the question. Yes, we can use it, but not in the way that I told you to make 2mm drill. No. In hard bone, you're going according to the protocol, perfectly by the protocol. And if you follow the protocol of the hard bone, the implant will get a 50 Newton insertion, but the advantage here that the core of the implant is very narrow. The threads are very big. So in case that, let's say, for 375mm, you drill 3.2mm like in every other implant, your implant is less traumatic than any other implant, because any other implant have 60-degree thread. These have 25-degree thread. 60-degree versus 25. Who is more traumatic? Most of the implants that have 60-degree have 0.6 pitch. So it means you have a lot of stress. Here, you have 2mm pitch, double thread, that's going very low. So it means this implant will engage the bone on the 25-degree. No stress at all. No upper cortical. And will give you a lot of new space between the bone and the body of the implant, because the thread is very long. And this is very good for hard bone, because we want to change hard bone to a better bone with more vascularization. So, you know, before, I'm doing implants for 35 years. I was doing more than 120,000 implants in my life, okay? So when you have hard bone, it's not good for the implant. The implant can fail. But if I change the bone quality, then I have a better result. But then what we was doing in history, we was drilling, going out, come after 1 month, because then we make a remodeling or a new vascularization. Here, no, I just drill 3.2, place the implant, and everything, vascularization, everything will be perfect, and you can go even for immediate loading. So we designed this implant from scratch for hard bone, soft bone, medium bone, and interchangeable bone that you have normally what you have. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Ophir. I do have one, but I think this comes more as a compliment. So congrats to you. It says, thank you for this implant design. The reduced neck, there is no need to use the bone profile drill. Yes, he's right. And the drilling doesn't require a tap. Exactly, as you just explained. And then it says, Ophir, big congrats here. So you get a big compliment, Ophir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, the compliment normally is for our patient, because all what we do, you know, for me is a mission. Yeah, I was doing Alpha Bio, I was doing Nobel Active, and in Straumann, this is now a mission to help the doctor, to help the patient. And, you know, when we go to the work and we do those changes, and we have the tools to do this change, this is wonderful.
So we shift gear now. From the surgical element, we shift to the prosthetic side. Okay, restorative elements here in question. So it says, I like the BLT connection crossfit, but honestly don't like too much this thing of A and B abutment. Do we also need A and B abutments in BLX?
Tell me, somebody paid this doctor to ask this question? This is beautiful question. So first of all, we don't need A and B, because we have 6 positions on the thorax, okay? When you have 4 positions, then you need A and B. We don't need A and B, no need. You have 6 positions, 60-degree each one. You can really, in time of insertion the implant, check the angulation that you need. You can do forward and backward. The implant will be stable. Even if you rotate the implant back, it's still stable because it works, the lion claw working for the other side. So the condensing for other side. So this makes you a beautiful, you know, for giving the prosthetic. Now, this connection is, I told you, it's like Tesla. It's designed now. It's a 7-degree thorax, so it's a real 7-degree tapered, so it's really fit beautiful, with of course the precise of Switzerland. And you have thorax that is like a star that going inside interdigitation, and then you have 6 tube support. So it's really locked by the 6-degree and locked by inside. And this is amazing. We do a lot of study about this connection. You even cannot compare with the old connection, even not come on each other, because this is the real connection that gives you the best stability ever, and no need A and B.
Thank you very much, Ophir. We are short in time, but we do have one more question that I think is relevant, especially for restorative doctors again. So if I use the same abutment for all implant diameter, is there really an option for wider emergence profile? How do we tackle this problem?
Okay, so first of all, due to all the research today that we call about zero resorption and all the article that you find out now, we want normally to come with bone platform shifting. This is the first implant that have bone platform shifting. It means I have more bone on the coronal part. And this is the very implant that have a switch platform shifting, because we have 2.7 millimeter of the neck of the tulip abutment that we have. And this, of course, will give you the best condition for environment that you want to achieve on this implant. So what was the question exactly? Because I start to go around.
So if there is, you mentioned in your presentation, only one abutment required.
I got it. And then, so first of all, for me, I prefer not to make a molar on the implant. I prefer to make size like premolar, because when you have a normal crown with 3 roots that have 450 millimeters square of surface area, then you have an upper coronal molar. So for me, in implant, I make it more narrow because I want to clean very nice, and I want to have less stress, and I don't want to have leverage. But in case you still want to be wider, yes, we have this option. On the wider implant, you just select a wider connection, that's all. And the wider connection have an option that's sitting on the bevel of the 22-degree and give you the option to be wider. I'm used this, you know, I was placing a thing like 4,000 BLX implant, 4,000 BLX implant. And mostly I use the one abutment. And maybe in 2 cases, when I have a molar, it was a big man and I need to go a little bit up, I use the wider one. But yes, you have this option, and still it's very economic, you know, like to have one abutment, not confusing with the lab, not confusing with nobody, and you get even better advantage biologically. But still, yes, you have the option.
Thank you very much, Ophir. I wish you an excellent time. Thank you for clarifying the questions, and congratulations again for seeing pretty much your baby flying now in Colombia. Thank you very much for your lecture.
Muchas gracias, Colombia. Muchas gracias.